The September 4th meeting of the Thousand Oaks Council on Aging is now being called to order. We will now have the Pledge of Allegiance. Lynn, would you please lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We will now have the roll taken by Staff Liaison Francine Spriegel.
Please indicate that you're here by saying here or present. Commissioner Allen.
Present.
Commissioner Fotheringham.
Here.
Commissioner Gorbach.
Here.
Commissioner Grimm.
Here.
Commissioner Healy.
Here.
Commissioner Kopaz.
Here.
Commissioner Loomis.
Present.
Commissioner Norkin.
Here.
And Commissioner Shentis.
Here.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for joining us, folks. This is almost like the first day of school. I mean, everybody moved to the back. Nobody wants to be in the front. They think they're not going to get called upon, but you wait and see. You just wait and see. But again, thank you for joining us here. Thank you. Item 4 on the agenda is public comments. A speaker card is available for those wishing to address the Council on Aging regarding items on the agenda or a subject regarding senior services to the city. In our city, excuse me. Speakers are requested to state name and city of residence. We've got 2 cards present of speakers. There's a yellow card lurking around the room, so you do get your 3 minutes, but be woe unto you if you go beyond the 3 minutes. All right, first one we have is a good friend of ours who covers a lot of things and is a good member of our team, SAMPIC team, Brenda Birdwell.
Good afternoon. If it's a first day back at school, are we in the Cool Kids Club or the Not So Cool Kids Club? I say the Cool Kids, yes. I'm Brenda Birdwell. I'm a senior advocate with Senior Concerns. My office is at the Gorbach Active Adult Community Center at 1385 East Jans Road. I share an office with Betty Berry. We're both senior advocates. Our telephone number is 805-495-6250, and all of our information that I'm going to be talking about is on the Senior Concerns website. That's www.seniorconcerns.org. The first thing that I want to let you know is you have the really exciting possibility of still going to our Ultimate Dining event. This is coming up at the Westlake Hyatt on Sunday, September the 15th, and if you haven't been, it's fabulous. You need to go. If you've been, you know how fabulous it is, and you will be going already. So that's the first thing that's coming up. On September the 13th, at the Gorbach Active Adult Community Center, there's going to be a Medicare Fraud Seminar at 1:30 at the Gorbach Center. We did one last year, and it was very informative. It was very well received. So if you're available, you should be looking for that. Also, as you all know, some of you are not nearly close enough to be talking about Medicare. But for those of you who have Medicare near and dear to your heart, open enrollment starts October 17th and goes through December 7th. So the very first Medicare seminar about Medicare 2014 will be at the Gorbach Active Adult Community Center on September 27th at 1:30. And our infamous Betty Berry will be conducting that seminar. She's a very popular speaker, and there's a lot of popular topics. Senior Concerns does a Caregiver University series. It's a series of programs with information all about caregiving. To put my glasses on now. The first event coming up is Tuesday, September the 10th, and it's called Is It Possible to Cover the Cost of Long-Term Care? And there's a whole series going on for the next several months. Again, all of this information is on our website. Also, on September 16th, that's a Monday, at the Grant Hall Brimhall Library, there's a Livewell, Age Well seminar, and T-Bar, who's our brain fitness instructor, will be conducting that. So that is going to be on September 16th from 4 to 5:30. The other really exciting thing that's going on is Boomer Boot Camp. The cool kids went last year. They'll be going again this year. It's another fabulous presentation, a 3-speaker series, and that's going to be November 6th, the 13th, and the 20th, right across the hall here at the Civic Arts Plaza. Again, all of our information is on our website. That's www.seniorconcerns.org. Our phone number is 805-495-6250. And all of this information is also in Betty Berry's column in the Ventura County Star every Wednesday. And Andrea Gallagher, who will be speaking more for Senior Concerns in a few minutes here, also has an article in the Acorn twice a month. And the phone number for our Hodenkamp office, 401 Hodenkamp, where our adult day center is 805-497-0189. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Brenda. It's always good to see you and keeping us up to date on senior concerns. Thank you, kiddo. Our next speaker is Paul Knorr, also a member of our SAMP Implementation Committee. In this case, it's health. Paul, you have the speaker.
Thank you, Dave, commissioners, everyone in the audience. My name is Paul Knorr. I live in Thousand Oaks. I am a member of the Council on Aging SAMP Health Team. And in that regard, I want to bring your attention to something that Brenda just mentioned, and that is the Livewell, Age Well series. This has been something that we in the health team have been noodling around with for a couple of years. The idea of having an educational, ongoing, maybe once a month seminar series where we would bring in, experts. We have a lot of skills, a lot of knowledge in the community, experts from the medical field, health and wellness, all kinds of things, and try to fill any possible gaps that exist in educational opportunities available to people, and maybe bring a little different slant to some of the issues, or maybe just to amplify some important information that's out there already. So we're very excited to start this series. The one coming up on September 16th is the first one. And the first one is going to be called Healthy Body, Healthy Mind, Healthy Spirit. We're starting from the big picture. We're going to work our way down to smaller issues like sugar, down to the molecular level, and maybe we'll go back and forth. But we're very excited about that. If you want more information, there are nifty flyers that are available here. I don't know where you'd get them, but you could go, other than if you know some of us, but you could go to the city website, toaks.org, and just go to the calendar. And just hit September 16, you'll see the details right there. One other item, I don't know if I'm going out on a limb mentioning this, but in Camarillo, our sister city down the hill, there are going to be a couple of seminars coming up in October and November on Social Security and on retirement income planning. It's through the Camarillo Healthcare District. You can go to camhealth.org or .com. You can find out about those. Good. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Guy. The next agenda item is one we only get to do once a year, and that's to introduce our new commissioners. I'm very proud to introduce our 2 new members to our dais. First off, Dr. Karen Gorbach. Karen, please let the Conejo community know a little bit about you and why you're here.
Well, thank you very much, Dave. My name's Karen Gorbach, and I have recently retired as a dean from the Ventura County Community College District, where I served as a manager at both Ventura College and at Oxnard College. And at Ventura, I ran the community education program where we served thousands of seniors over the years in all types of really wonderful classes. And then earlier in my career, I worked as an associate dean at College of the Canyons and ran the Emeritus program, also serving seniors in education throughout the community. And what was really fun there, I ran job search workshops for seniors at the One Stop Center in Santa Clarita. So I am beyond thrilled to have this opportunity to work on the commission, and I would like to thank you all very much for your confidence. Thank you.
Boy, oh boy, we do get a school marm and somebody who's handled seniors before. What a great combination. Welcome again, Doctor.
Thank you.
Loretta Allen is also a new member. Loretta, let us hear a little about yourself.
Okay, my name's Loretta Allen, and I live in Thousand Oaks. And my career I'm a native Californian when native Californians weren't very prolific at that time in my life. Anyway, my career has been in healthcare. I started with graduating from Queen of Angels School of Nursing in 1964. And I'm recently retired from Kaiser Permanente, where I helped on the national team with all of our 8 regions implementing the electronic health record from a clinical standpoint. So I've worked in all areas of nursing over my career. I was an assistant director of nursing down at St. John's in Santa Monica for 17 years. I worked there, and I've had a lot of different outpatient experience, inpatient, and I'm really looking forward to participating on the commission, and thank you very much.
Now, welcome to both of you, and look forward to your contribution. We know it's maybe not cold water we're going to throw in your face to get you going, but we know you have a lot of energy and a lot of experience in handling us, so thank you again. All right, for you folks who have scorecards, we're going to change the lineup a little bit. What is item 6 is going to become item 9. And that's as far as I'm going to go because we won't keep you confused beyond that, all right? So, let's see. So we're going to move on to now old item 7. And for that, I'm going to turn it over to Vice Chair Len Loomis.
And I, in turn, am happy to give this to Nick Fotheringham, who, via acclamation at a meeting last week, said that he would take, again, the reins of the Senior Adult Master Plan chair in his hands as firmly as he had in the past. So, Nick, thanks for what's passed, and it's yours.
All right. And I don't have anybody to pass the buck to, so it stops here. The Senior Adult Master Plan implementation activities are rapidly approaching the end of our unofficial fiscal year, which doesn't have much to do with fiscal aspects of our program, but it's marked by 2 events, one of which is our annual report to the City Council, which the teams are madly polishing now as we speak, and the other, which I think may be more interesting to those of you in the audience, is our annual recruitment breakfast. If you were fortunate enough to see our program in June, you know a lot about what the SAMP activities are composed of. And if you weren't fortunate enough to tune into that, please look at us up online and see the YouTube version and review that. If you think that you'd like to become involved in some of the SAMP activities, there's an opportunity for you to come and hear a little bit more about what the plans are for the near future for each of the teams, meet the team leaders, and express your interest and hopefully get involved. It will be held on October 10th at 8:30 in the morning. The location is currently a guarded secret and so forth because we want an accurate head count of who's coming. So if you'd like to come, and everyone is welcome, please contact Francine Spriegel either by phone or by email and let her know that you'd like to attend, and we'll reserve a spot for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nick. And moving right on to item 8, which is liaison reports 8A. Marty Shentis, will you handle that for us, please?
Thanks, Len. It's my pleasure today to introduce Rick Tanaka, who has been selected just as the new director of CSVP. Take it away, Rick.
First of all, I'd like to thank the Commission for everything that you do for the community, and thank you everyone here in attendance. My name is Rick Tanaka, as Marty mentioned, and I've taken over the director position for the Conejo Senior Volunteer Program. I'm very excited to move forward with this. The previous director, Cindy Powers, has done an outstanding job, and I'm looking forward to maintaining a smooth transition and continuing the programs that she has established. I've been with the Global Center for the past 4 years, so I am familiar with many of you in my operations that I've been a part of over there. But now I'm on the other side of the building. If you have any questions or anything along those lines, feel free to give me a call at 381-2742, and I'd be happy to assist in any way that I can. I'd like to talk about some of the programs that we have coming up through the Conejo Senior Volunteer Program. One of them that we're excited about is the Back to School Tea. This is involving volunteers that help out with the schools in the community, some of the schools that need a little bit more help. And we're seeking volunteers to go into the classroom and help in a hands-on way with the students that just benefit tremendously from the efforts that past volunteers have put forth. The Back to School Tea is going to be taking place on Thursday, September 12th at 10 o'clock at the Gorbach Center. If you have any questions or if you'd like to reserve a seat, please call us at 381-2742. Another thing that we have coming up is the Holiday Boutique. The gift shop at the Gorbach Center, if you're not familiar with it, is a great place to come and pick up items, perhaps most famously for their 50-cent greeting cards. But November 4th through November 15th, we dedicate it to holiday items, and we just have numerous fantastic items that are donated, new items, estate sale items, and handmade items, handmade by the wonderful volunteers at our center. And all of the proceeds go to help the Conejo Senior Volunteer Program. So both sides win. You're going to find great holiday items, and you're going to help the Conejo Senior Volunteer Program in doing so. And then we're always, looking for more volunteers to help out with the countless partner agencies that we have throughout the community, just to help make the community a better place. The volunteers, the contribution that they put forth is just, beyond what words can describe, is how much it benefits the community. So thank you so much. It's a pleasure meeting everyone. Thank you. Yes, Nancy.
I know you mentioned the handmade items, and you can tend to think of them as like pot holders or something. Last week, this is just a personal thing, but I was over there and I bought a shawl that's hand done, beautiful, all wool, shades of the orange and all that are in vogue right now. And it goes with everything I'm taking to Mexico. So it was $18, which for you guys is a high price. That really would have cost $100 at any store that sold it like that. So it is a great place to just stop by if you're over there. Just a quick minute in there and you can probably find something. So
yes, thank you for that, Commissioner Healy. Absolutely. The handmade items they're more than you might imagine just from words. Thank you.
Rick, you still have item B if you want that time. And for those of you who are watching on television, no, that is not the person who normally says what's going on at the Gorbach Center. I can't get the new one out. So if there's anything else you'd like to highlight at Gorbach, you're welcome to it.
Absolutely. Well, as I mentioned, I was the administrative clerk at the Gorbach Center for the past 4 years. I had put together the monthly Gorbach Gazette on a regular basis, and we always have just a number of great events and programs that are coming up. One of them that I'd particularly like to highlight at this point is put together by the Gorbach Commission and their efforts to keep that facility running at the level that it's at are just indescribable. One of the new programs that they have put forth is the game nights, and the last one was a huge success. It was just tremendous fun. Everyone just had a great time. And they have another one coming up on Friday, September 27th. And this one is going to be based on Secret Word Game. So they are tickets available at this point. You're going to want to call the front office, 805-381-2744, in order to get more information on that program and in order to get tickets for that. The tickets are going fast, so I would recommend picking up a ticket as quickly as you can. And then otherwise, the trips that we have taking place on a regular basis from our facility are always a great success. One of them being Las Vegas coming up later this month. Unfortunately, that trip has filled up to maximum capacity at this point, but this just goes to show you how popular these trips are. They're a great social event for people to come together, get on a bus, and go someplace fun and just have a good time. All of this information can be found in the September edition of the Gorbach Gazette. It's available online at the Conejo Recreation Park District website, also available at the front desk at the Gorbach Adult Community Center. Again, their phone number is 805-381-2744.
Thanks very much, Rick. For those of you out there who don't believe it, the Gorbach Center is really a place for everyone in the Conejo, every adult in the Conejo. There are all kinds of things that go on there, and in my estimation, it's one of the wonderful things that we can be extremely proud of in the city. And now back to the chair.
Speaker there. I don't want any crosstalk. No, wrong. The green thing. Thank you, Commissioner Loomis. All right. This is the time. Item 7, old item 7, let's call it, is a portion of our meeting where commissioners can provide any information, comment, or announcements which no action may be taken by the commission at this time. So are there any, at this time, are there any commissioners who'd like to voice some ideas or things that are going on that you'd like to publicize? Yes. Wow. All right. The doctor is in. Let's go.
Thank you very much. I'd like to say just a few words about a program I've been volunteering with since March, and that's the Conejo Connection Resource Center over at the Oaks Mall on the lower level by the food court. And it is a terrific program that's run by trained volunteers, staffed by trained volunteers, and we provide information about services and volunteer opportunities to individuals in the Conejo Valley or anyone who comes up to our desk. So it is, I have heard a lot, even the mall people at the customer service desk upstairs say that customers tell them how much they enjoy talking to those of us who work in the resource center. So we are open Tuesdays through Sundays from 12 until 6 o'clock, and my slot is Tuesday afternoon from 3 until 6, so I want you to come over and say hello. I already have some regulars who come by, but those of you out there in TV land, if you'd like to come by and chat for a few minutes, and we can talk about the database that is a huge resource of all types of services, from housing to food and clothing and volunteer opportunities and anything anyone can need. If you think it's not available, you're wrong. It's available. And so come by. I'm there Tuesdays from 3 to 6, and I'll help you find out whatever it is you need. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Karen. That well-deserved for the recognition that the folks do down there. Harry. Yeah, Harry, you're up next, Harry.
Oh, thank you, Dave. I'd like to talk about the Gorbach Center Commission. They're an opening for 4 new commissioners on the board. The closing date for the commission application is September 13th of this month, and the applications are available at the Gorbach Center or online at the crpd.org. So if you're interested, please get an application and submit it to the CRPD or the Gorbach Center before September 13th. We're still looking for 4 good people. Thank you.
Yeah, I think as you heard Rick talk about some of the things that are going on there, it is a wonderful organization, again, staffed by some pretty dynamic seniors. So if you want to be a part of such an organization, please consider. No, ladies first. Sorry, Nick. And that lady is our own.
Not really.
All right.
Okay, this bears on 2 things. What Harry said, number one, that I am at Gorbach 4 mornings a week for things. I go to Tai Chi there. I go to the literature group this morning and to my painting class. So it is a wonderful place to go and see people. I cannot overemphasize. And the commission that he's speaking about, I have 2 close friends on it, they do almost everything they do to fundraise to keep that place going so beautifully as it does. My second thing, which would have been my only thing, is Karen Gorbach has been one of our newer volunteers, but I don't know what we would have done this summer without Karen being so willing to help us out, to step into places. And my next pitch after Karen's, it really is a fun thing. And we do need, because of summer going away and new season starting, we will need new volunteers starting out. The training is very basic. It's truly fun. You work with some really super people like Karen, and she can really help you. There's some really nice people, so it's a reasonably small commitment. If you think about it, be interested, call Rick, and he can help you out. So thank you again, Karen, for really keeping us together this year.
Thank you, Nancy. You're going to have any reports from other thrift shops, things like other successes you've had? Because
Oh, this is all from a real story.
Oh, holy smokes. You're slowing down, kiddo.
Don't forget Nick.
Who'd I forget?
Nick. Oh.
Nick, please.
Hi. I just wanted to extend a welcome aboard to my brother Steve, who turned 65 today. Steve, you've you've entered a great stage in your life. Bye-bye.
That's right. I mean, this can be a time for just personal things that you, or people in the community who you may know that you'd like to salute or let them know that you value their association with you. So, let's see. I got a couple of things here. First off is the 10th anniversary of the Thousand Oaks Art Festival coming up on September 21st to the 22nd. It's becoming quite a renowned event, and a lot of good entertainment there for you, for family, well, I guess for all ages, entertainment as well. Tonight, I know it's a little bit late, but tonight there's going to be a lecture, a part of the lecture series of the CSUCY lecture series. That's also known as CSU Channel Islands, excuse me. It's going to be held over at the library tonight from 7 to 8:30. It's with regard to stem cells, Boone or Bane, with Dr. Natika Parma, Associate Professor of Biology. That's for tonight. I did want to make sure everybody understood, or we're aware of that, the upcoming programs for the next 2 months at least are going to be very interesting. One is energy conservation. It's going to be put on by California Edison. Pardon me? PG&E. Oh, okay. Wasn't that the name of a band once upon a time? All right. That's before my time. And then November's is a very popular session we have. Again, Betty Berry is mentioned earlier today, but she's going to be conducting her annual meeting to let folks know what the changes are in the upcoming Medicare. And one thing I just want to reiterate is the SAMP breakfast. Please, if you have any interest in learning about your community and what you can do for your community, this is a wonderful outlet to meet the folks who are now driving a lot of the SAMP issues, the SAMP events, the SAMP projects. We're always looking for new blood. We want new people to be a part of this because that's the only way we're going to keep the dynamics moving for SAMP. The last thing I wanted to bring up was the use of the Thousand Oaks City website. Paul referred to this a little bit earlier, and I want to expand upon that, of what Paul said. We are installing all the events that are Council on Aging or Senior Adult Master Plan oriented. So if you go on the website and you look down the column, you'll see two areas. One says SAMP and the other one says Council on Aging. You can, and I may try to demonstrate this next month, but the idea is that you can go on there and you can find out all the activities that are going on. Don't faint on me, Francine. Don't faint. Thank you. But it does keep you aware and you get you more involved and even get you energized with the ideas of what's going on in this wonderful community of ours as far as programs. I mean, it's just, yeah, I'm biased towards the seniors, but there's all kinds of activities that are listed on the website that there's no reason that people shouldn't get out and get involved in our wonderful city. Okay. I think that'll do it. Enough from me. And I guess I'm going to turn it over to Roberta.
Thank you, Dave. This afternoon, our first speaker is Andre Gallagher. She is a certified senior advisor, president of Senior Concerns, She also writes a bi-monthly column for the Acorn called The Other Side of 50. Welcome.
Thank you very much for having me. I just want to say that I was at the first game night. My husband and I were part of the newlywed game. We came in dead last. And maybe it was because we've only been married 23 years, and I think the other two couples had been married over 50 years each. So I have 25 more years of learning to do with my husband, evidently, and he vice versa. So, okay. What I'd like to do today is talk a little bit about today's caregiver in our community and a little bit about the future of family caregiving. And let me start with a little bit of history. Senior Concerns has a lot of experience with family caregivers. And let me start by saying, if you don't know, Senior Concerns is a nonprofit in the community. We've been around for 38 years. We're one of the best kept secrets out there. But we often deal with adult children who are helping to care for an aging loved one in many different aspects, whether it's the stress of dealing with caregiving, whether it's placement for a loved one, whether it's dealing with in-home care. We've been providing a number of resources for years. And even though we're called Senior Concerns, I would say 50% of what we do is really supporting family caregivers. So not only are we steeped in this in the community, but we've learned a lot in the last few years. Let's talk a little bit about caregivers today and some of the things that are significant in their lives. First of all, family caregiving is becoming the new normal. If you don't know that, right now, 80% of long-term care is provided by a family loved one. 80%. So, if you think about our healthcare system and about the ways in which folks are getting cared for today, the reality is it's family caregivers that are providing most of it. Often it started in a crisis. Nobody plans for this. It's not like anybody puts into their life plan, and now in the next 2 months I'm going to learn about becoming a family caregiver, just in case something happens. So often it happens in crisis, and we've never done any planning for it. It's often now more complicated than it had been in previous years, in part because folks are living longer, they're living longer with more chronic conditions, and they're not staying in the hospital as long. So when you come out of the hospital with a loved one, you often might be dealing with intravenous injections, wound care, things that people many years ago in family caregiving never dealt with. Often it can be a negative influence on your physical, financial, and social well-being. I tell the story about caring for our elderly neighbors, Fred and Hildy. And Hildy had passed, and it was about 3 months after Hildy passed, and I was still caring for Fred. And I started to notice every morning when I was in the shower that a lot more hair was going down the shower than I had happened in the past. And I got very upset about that. Women who have challenges with hair, it's a big deal. I can appreciate men. I get it. But for us gals, it's part of who we are. And so I ran to the gynecologist, and she said, no, it's not hormonal. Go to the dermatologist. And I went to the dermatologist, and she asked me, had you had a shock in your life in the last 3 months? And I said, indeed, a person that I had been caring for and loved very much had passed. And she said to me, this is due to stress, your hair loss. And I can't tell you how long it's going to last, but I can tell you it will repair itself at some point in time. I went through about 4 or 5 more months with that hair loss. I ended up wearing a wig for that period of time. So I know all too well the stress or the physical challenges that can happen from stress of caregiving. It's incrementally harder dealing with a loved one who has cognitive impairment. They don't have the ability to follow directions sometimes. Often folks with cognitive impairment are wanderers during the evening. So when you're lying in bed, you're thinking about, is my loved one moving around? Do I need to be concerned for their safety? So lot of significant problems in dealing with caregiving these days. So no surprise, caregivers need help. But they're stressed, they lack plans, and they don't really know where to go get help. But the problem is that caregivers, in some instances, don't appreciate some of the challenges they're going through. The first one is caregiving is more than a one-person task. So my mom is full-time caregiver for my dad, who has advanced Parkinson's. He's wheelchair-bound. He needs help with bathing and feeding and toileting and everything, transferring. And my mom thinks she can do it all. And so she's 24 hours with my dad. And often that's the challenge with caregiving. Particularly women, they take on that role and they think they're the only ones that can do it. Often our support system that we have, our friends, our other relatives, our loved ones, our neighbors, we often withdraw from those people because we're so busy taking care of our loved one and going to work or going about our daily life that we end up pushing away the people who could help us the most. Service providers often have tremendous difficulty finding family caregivers because what happens is family caregivers often don't self-identify. If I didn't ask you to raise your hand in this room if you've ever been a family caregiver, which I'll ask you to do now, how many in this room have ever been a family caregiver? I would never know. I would never know if you have a current challenge today, if there was something that occurred in the past. So often there are lots of services in the community, but folks don't know about them because they don't even know where to reach family caregivers. And our healthcare system isn't set up to help family caregivers. I'll give you an example. For quite a while, I was taking Fred to the doctors, to many different doctors. And do you think at ever once did a physician sit down and say to me, "How are you doing? How do you feel? How's your health?" Never. So we have a lot of challenges in helping family caregivers. These are an examples. Caregivers come in all sizes, all shapes. This is a couple that I'll go back for 1 second. A couple that comes to us at Senior Concerns, part of our Adult Day program. These ladies are sisters. One of the sisters has dementia, and the other one takes care of her. This is a gentleman that comes to our program, and this is his mom. And to take a look, you would never know that there were challenges. So often, again, we would never know. The folks that we're serving at Senior Concerns are stressed, isolated, and depressed caregivers. These are folks that generally don't reach out for help, so we need to reach out to them. It's interesting. Caregiving needs span a wide variety of situations. We see 3 big areas for caregiving in the senior set as we care for seniors. The first are adult children that are caring for aging parents. The second are loved ones who are caring for an aging loved one with dementia. And the third is grandparents caring for grandkids. And you may sit here and say, "Holy cow, I don't quite understand that." Let me give you a couple of facts. Right now, about 17% of grandparents have responsibility of caring for a grandchild. Quite often, we don't hear about it. It's not things that are discussed in polite company. Let me tell you why. My son's in rehab, and so I'm caring for my grandson. My daughter's in jail, and so I'm caring for my granddaughter. My daughter skipped town, and so I'm caring for her kids. So as you can see, sometimes there's a stigma. In addition to that, these folks don't have legal or financial responsibility for these children, so they're doing their best to try to deal with this. It's a big and growing problem. The future of caregiving. So I often say to my husband, we have no kids. It's just my husband and I and 2 Cocker Spaniels, and I'm sure they're not going to take care of me as I get older. They'll probably eat me if I fall on the floor. They love food. So as I think about caring for our neighbors Fred and Hildy and my mom and dad and Peter's mom and dad, I ask the question, who's going to care for me as I get older? I bet you every one of you are starting to ask that question. Who's going to care for me? Quite often, even if we have kids, we may think, not sure if I want them taking care of me. Or maybe they just won't. So one of the sad facts is that boomers really aren't prepared for care. I would say that there's a strong percentage, a majority of baby boomers who won't be able to afford paid care. So let me tell you some stats that are quite frightening. 72% of baby boomers have no plans for their retirement care. They've never given thought to it. They've never discussed it. 43% have never had any discussions about their wishes. I don't want to be in a in a facility. I want to stay at home. I don't want heroic efforts made on my behalf. All of these things, 43% of the people never have a discussion about. 56% have had no discussion about how to pay for long-term care. So how is it that I'm going to be cared for financially in my older years? It's interesting, only 36% of the baby boomers think that they're going to need long-term care, but the true fact is over 70% of us will. So less than half of the people that are going to need it think they're going to need it. And 80% of the people have no idea of the cost of home care or nursing care. So if you ask these folks, how much does it cost on an annual basis if you had 24-hour care at home, or if you had 8-hour care at home, or you were in a nursing home, how much would that cost? 80% of the folks could not give you the right answer. So if we don't have answers to these questions, if we've not discussed it, if we've not thought about it, we're not prepared. There also won't be enough caregivers. This is a really interesting fact. They call this the 2030 problem. Today, because there are so many baby boomers, our generation is twice the size of the generation before us, okay? So right now, there are 7 potential caregivers for every person over the age of 80. So those would be potential caregivers. We call those age 50 to 75, somewhere in that vicinity, okay? Today, there are 7 for every person over 80. By 2030, it goes down to 4 to 1. And by 2050, it goes down to 3 to 1. This is a big problem occurring right now in China because of the one-child rule. And so what's happening is, matter of fact, I had a Chinese company come in and talk to me a number of weeks ago and said, we want to learn from what you're doing in American society to care for seniors, because we have a huge and growing problem and no infrastructure within China to care for our seniors. So first of all, we don't know enough. We've not planned to pay for our care, and we know there's not enough unpaid care to care for us. So this is kind of a big problem coming in the future. Caregivers have needs. So let's talk about the needs for a minute. If you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, these are the hierarchy of needs of family caregivers. The first one really is very focused on their person they're caring for. Help me to make good decisions. If I don't have the facts, if I don't have the information, often family caregivers are making decisions in crisis time without a lot of the facts. And boomers in general are researchers, so this is part of the challenge that we have, is that you're making decisions in a vacuum. So the first thing they ask is, help me make better decisions. The second is, can you help me to simplify my life? Right now, my life has no structure to it. I'm either at work, where I'm pulled in 50 different directions doing my job, and then I'm at home, and oh goodness, mom needs to go to the doctor today. Mom has a urinary tract infection. Mom has fallen and broke her hip. Mom is not taking her medication. So life is just not their own. So simplifying life is an important one. The next is, give me some peace of mind. I just want to know I'm doing the right thing. I just want to feel less stressed, less depressed, less isolated. And then give me some time for me, right at the top of the list. So we're trying to do three things at Senior Concerns. The first one is to connect with family caregivers. Because again, as you saw, if I asked everybody to raise their hand who had been a family caregiver or who was one now, unless I asked you that question, I would not know. And often family caregivers are so busy they don't seek out the resources that they need. So one of the things we've done is adopt a campaign called the You Call It, We Call It campaign. You call it taking a friend to the doctor. We call it caregiving. You call it bringing mom a few groceries. We call it caregiving. The opportunity here is to help folks self-identify, to help them understand that they are family caregivers, and then maybe they'll ask for some help. The next thing we try to do is support caregivers in the moment, when they're going through the experience. And so one of the ways we've done that is we've developed both I'll call it brick and mortar, and then a mobile caregiver unit. So this is our Caregiver Support Center at Senior Concerns, where we do a breadth of activities, which I'll talk about in a second. And then we have our mobile unit, which is parked outside today. I do want to say, if I were a vain woman, I just spent 2 hours in the hot sun out by the booth in the van, and now I'm in here getting recorded for all eternity on the city website. So if you don't look good, you'll know why. So our mobile unit is out in the community. We're out in the city, here in the city, in mobile home parks, in health clinics, at pharmacies, at workplaces, at places where people congregate. And our intent is to be there where we can reach family caregivers and give them some help and support. These are the types of services that we offer. First of all, if a family caregiver comes to us, one of the first things we'll offer is to do an assessment for them. What does the situation look like? Who are they caring for? What are some of their needs? We'll help them to put together a care plan. So here's the ways, simpler ways in which we can support you in caring for a loved one. We often offer information and referrals, and these are vetted by tons, thousands, and hundreds of thousands of experiences we have with family caregivers working with service providers in the community, so we know which ones work and which ones don't work as well. We offer education in the community, similar to what we're doing today, helping folks to understand the challenges of family caregiving. We run 2 support groups, one for folks that are caring for a loved one with dementia, and a brand new one that starts later this month that is for adult children that are having difficulty caring for an aging parent. So we also offer a resource library. So there's lots of services that we're bringing right to the family caregiver. The last thing that we do, so we talked about identifying family caregivers and then bringing services to them. The last is to educate caregivers and boomers. Because if we can bring awareness to this challenge and to the resources that are out there, we know that we'll be better helping thousands of people in the community, not just the caregivers, but the folks that they're caring for. So with that, we have our upcoming Boomer Boot Camp they talked about a little bit, which is in November, 3 Wednesdays in November, 7:30 at night at the Civic Arts Plaza here. We have wonderful national presenters who have vital information offered in what I call edutainment, education and entertainment way, that allows us to understand and think about. We actually had about 250 people per session last year, and that was the first year we did it. The last session we had, most folks came for the entire series. We fielded a survey, glowing reviews that said, I learned so much. This was really entertaining for me. I brought back so much information. This really caused me to think. So I would encourage everybody who's listening, if you're interested, we have some flyers in the back, or you can go to Senior Concerns website and learn more about Boomer Boot Camp. And so with that, I'm just going to reiterate the 3 ways in which we're trying to support family caregivers in the community. The first one is finding them. The second is supporting them, and the third is educating them. I'll leave you with some email addresses for those of us that you might like to get in touch with. Mine is right there, Andrea Gallagher. Lori Bliss is one of our case managers working throughout the community, and Brenda Birdwell that you heard from earlier. So I'd like to thank you very much today. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. Thank you for sharing such wonderful information with us, and I'm sure a lot of people will be finding it very helpful.
Roberta?
Yes.
1 second. I failed to mention this earlier, but we cannot take questions at this point in time. We have to wait till our meeting's adjourned. But as you said, as Andrea said, she does, and she will be out at the van to take any questions or discuss any of the thoughts that she had here. Okay? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Dave. Our next speaker this afternoon is Brenda Coleman. Brenda is the Recreation Service Manager of the Conejo Park and Recreation.
Thank you very much. It's
Welcome.
A pleasure to be here today. And I'd like to thank Andrea for that very informative presentation. It was wonderful. I'd also like to take a moment before I get started with my presentation to thank the Council on Aging for your many contributions to the community. They are indeed significant. Today's presentation is a 12-minute video, that was created with a dual purpose. We created it to share with our residents the many programs, services, parks, and facilities that the Conejo Recreation and Park District offers to the community residents. And we also thought it would be timely with this being our 50th anniversary. Hopefully you've heard about that campaign over the course of 2013. The second part of that is that we also submitted this video as part of an application to the National Recreation and Park District Association as part of the application process for excellence in recreation management. And I'm proud to say that Conejo Recreation and Park District was a finalist in this venture. And it was obviously a national venture, and we were one of 4 communities with like populations to be recognized. The convention last year in 2012 was in Anaheim, California, and so since it was a local conference, we decided since the National Association was coming to Southern California, we would participate. So the video, being 12 minutes in length, is part of that application. But once again, it's wonderful because the residents can see, all the different services that are available. We also had to be selective in what we put in the video because we were trying to highlight the partnerships that Conejo Recreation and Park District has here in the community, which are really, have been so wonderful and really do enrich the lives of residents. And then also we had to be selective in that we wanted to kind of put things that were unique, specific to the Conejo program areas that we are recognized for that perhaps other communities don't have. So when you look at the video, keep that in mind, and I'll be available for questions afterwards. And thank you for all the compliments on Gorbach as well today. Some wonderful comments. And I'd like to say that the district brochure that is mailed to 52,000 residents has been mailed, and the registration takes place through September 9th when our fall program season begins. So for those of you that heard all the comments about Gorbach, and if you're interested in participating there or at any of our community centers, because one of our goals of recent has really been to expand our adult and senior offerings district-wide at all of our community centers. So you can go to crpd.org to register now through the 9th. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy the presentation.
Welcome to the beautiful community of Thousand Oaks, California. Located in Ventura County, adjacent to the Santa Monica Mountains, Thousand Oaks is 15 miles north of Malibu and 40 miles west of downtown Los Angeles. The Conejo Valley is rich in history, with early Hollywood studios filming many movies and classic television shows like Gunsmoke and The Rifleman. The Dallas Cowboys trained here during the 70s, and the Conejo Valley is home to the 2004 Little League World Series U.S. champions. I'm Veronica Dunn. Join us on an adventure through the beautiful community of Thousand Oaks, California, and the Conejo Recreation and Park District.
Formed in 1962, the Conejo Recreation and Park District is governed by a publicly elected 5-member board of directors serving 136,000 people in a 63-square-mile area. The district is committed to providing high-quality activities at its community centers and special facilities. Each year we offer more than 3,000 programs, everything from Mommy and Me to senior softball. Every member of the community is a priority for us. The hallmark of the Conejo Recreation and Park District's success is its partnerships with governmental agencies, community institutions, local service clubs, and businesses.
Partnerships in Thousand Oaks are extremely important. We're in an era of limited resources, so none of us can do it alone. Most importantly is our partnership with CRPD in Costco.
In 1977, the district, with the city of Thousand Oaks, formed the Conejo Open Space Conservation Agency to acquire and preserve natural lands as protected, publicly accessible open space. Our community is now comprised of 37% open space. 98% of our residents live within 1 mile of a trailhead, leading to over 140 miles of multi-use trails.
We would not be able to manage and maintain that amount of open space without our partnership with CRPD.
When summer arrives, everyone loves a refreshing swim in a pool. To meet that need, a unique 3-way partnership was formed to develop the community pool at California Lutheran University.
The 3-way partnership, university, city and the CRPD is crucial. The university provided the land. The CRPD was able to provide funds for the building and able to operate it. And the city kicked in with financial support too. Without each one of those three pieces, it wouldn't have happened. And I am so grateful to the people from the Park District and the city that came up with it and pushed it.
In 2011, the Mcrae Ranch Visitor Center opened, which provides public access to a pristine piece of property donated to the district by the family of Joel and Frances Mcrae. The Visitor Center was made possible by 2 grants from the Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy. The center provides visitors with first-hand experiences of California ranch life.
This is my home, the Young Artists Ensemble. The district has provided our community youth with amazing programs, such as the Teen Summer Musical, to help us explore our creative passions. Here we develop special friendships, confidence in ourselves, and gain valuable life experience in this enriching environment. The district is committed to providing opportunities and support for youth and teens to engage in positive and meaningful activities.
The outreach program has a big impact on the city of Thousand Oaks being one of the safest cities in the nation. We could not have the safe community that we enjoy without this partnership. I've watched them talk to kids. I've watched them involved with families. That is the impact that they have, and that is what's so critical.
The Reign of Terror haunted house gives teens a fun and scary experience.
I really just started off wanting to recreate what I had as a kid for just the local neighborhood kids. The event could not go on with me alone. We needed that infrastructure that the district would provide. All the proceeds of the haunted house benefit 2 groups. One is the Teen Center and the other is the Young Artists Ensemble. So as they come in and they're paying to come through the haunted house, they're really paying to add something into their community through the charities that the proceeds of the haunted house benefit. And it's really because of the Jan's Marketplace and the Conejo Recreation and Park District and my ability to make a haunted house that's really made this partnership and this Reign of Terror what it is today.
The Conejo Recreation and Park District manages more than 13,000 acres of open space, 140 miles of multi-purpose trails, patrolled by park rangers and volunteers, are popular destinations for mountain bikers, hikers, and equestrians. We are also a key partner in the administration of the Mountains Recreation and Conservation Authority, which manages 69,000 acres of prime open space in the Santa Monica Mountains, as well as Los Angeles County.
The district is in a dry climate and must rely 100% on imported water. Non-essential turf areas are being replaced with drought-resistant plants and ground cover. To date, 80% of our irrigation heads have been replaced with controllers that monitor the weather and automatically adjust watering schedules. To enhance both communication and marketing, the district is focusing on technology and social media. Our website has been completely redesigned to make it easier for visitors to learn about and participate in our parks and programs. And it works well. An impressive 90% of all class registration is done by way of our user-friendly registration program. The sports unit now provides field condition status to area sports organizations via smartphone. And the Teen Center Facebook page has been a successful promotion too, with thousands of likes.
Every 5 years, the City of Thousand Oaks conducts a comprehensive attitude survey. This survey gives important feedback on how the public views district services. In 2009, 97% of residents surveyed were very satisfied or satisfied with the district's maintenance of parks and facilities. 88% were very satisfied or satisfied with the offering of recreation programs. And an impressive 91% said that someone in their household visited a park or recreation facility in the last year.
The Thousand Oaks Teen Center, now approaching its 23rd anniversary, provides a fun, social environment of educational and recreational programs for our future leaders.
The advisory committee here is a group of teens that get together and we talk about current events going on at the Teen Center, and we basically just give our input on things we'd like to see.
I really like being able to give my voice and help other kids.
And you sit back and you look at all the kids having fun at a dance or at a concert, and you're just like, I helped plan that.
There's so many things that this place offers.
Basketball league and a volleyball one as well.
Valentine's Day, New Year's Eve dance.
Stained glass.
Stained glass, yeah. Then there's this whole entire recreation room. There's ping pong, pool, arcade games. The Canelo Recreation Recreation Park District has created a place that is continually evolving. It's always changing. There are always new programs happening.
We also have the Battle of the Bands,
Pool tournaments, ping pong tournaments,
dodgeball tournaments, Magic Mountain, Disneyland Beach. There's dances, there's talent shows, there's a spirit night for the middle schools, art classes, and if you want to learn a musical instrument or photography.
ACT courses and workshops.
Be everything you could possibly want to do over summer and during the year.
Bridge. No, kidding.
Serving the needs of people with disabilities is a priority for the district. Our Therapeutic Recreation Unit provides an array of recreation and social programs, offering everything from Special Olympics competitions to enrichment classes, as well as important social opportunities. And our award-winning Conejo Theater for Everyone is now in its 9th year, featuring actors with and without disabilities, working side by side to perform in fully produced theatrical productions.
The 21,000 square foot Gorbach Senior Adult Center provides a wide variety of activities, events, and social services, as well as a nutrition program to an ever-growing senior population. The Produce Outreach is a special partnership between the district, Food Share of Ventura County, and Panera Bread, which provides over 200 Conejo Creek families in need with vital food resources twice a month.
Last year, our volunteers contributed more than 10,000 service hours to the district programs and events. In addition to the district's program volunteers, we are also the proud sponsor of the community's RSVP program.
RSVP, Retired and Senior Volunteer Program, is a program that utilizes the skills and talents of adults aged 55 and over to benefit our community. We have over 1,000 volunteers here in the Conejo Valley, and we serve over 65 different nonprofit agencies. The Conejo Recreation and Park District, they understand the value of RSVP. Our income tax program is just a great program. We served over 1,200 families in our community. We were able to save our low-income seniors and low-income residents over $200,000. This program was able to refund over $500,000 that went back into the pocket of people in our community who really need it. Each month, we send over 50 care packages to our troops. We get letters back from them saying we know that somebody still cares about what we're doing.
The Conejo Recreation and Park District works with more than 50 athletic organizations to meet the recreational needs of youth and adult athletes in the community. AYSO Region 9 recently contributed nearly $1 million and pledged an additional $550,000 for capital projects and improvements to the district's Conejo Creek South Soccer Complex.
A variety of nonprofit partners work with us to operate facilities enriching our residents' lives. One special relationship is with Ride On Therapeutic Horsemanship.
What you find is the children that experience Ride On, and you see the joy the children get out of it, and you see what it does for them, where it affects their self-esteem, their self-confidence.
I don't know exactly how to convey how important it's been to our family and how amazing it is that the whole community comes together, which makes a huge difference in people's lives.
I'm incredibly impressed by the district. They are so creative in the way they put these pieces together. The staff is so proactive and imaginative in seeking out new programs.
The last day I pick her up, she's sitting there with all the other girls, and you look at her and she's like, she's one of the group. She's being one of the group. You don't get that everywhere.
But it's given me freedom. I can do so much more than I ever thought I could do. I wish people could tell you how I was when I first came here. I didn't talk. I say hi to everybody now.
It is extremely rare to run into an organization like the Park District that has that sense of mission.
Through the efforts and success of the Conejo Recreation and Park District, Thousand Oaks offers one of the richest community experiences and is the best place to live on earth.
I hope you all agree with that statement. I'd like to say that since that video was shot the summer of 2012, as you heard earlier, Cindy Powers has moved on. And
welcome to the beautiful community of Thousand Oaks, California. Located in Ventura County, adjacent to the Santa Monica Mountains, Thousand Oaks is 15 miles north of Malibu and 40 miles west of downtown Los Angeles.
It's no longer RSVP, but CSVP. The Teen Center is now approaching its 24th anniversary this fall rather than 23rd, so a little bit has happened since the filming of this production. But the other thing I'd like to encourage you folks to do is I've put some material, some printed material there by the door, and one of them is our special event flyer. We just ended our summer concert series, and I'm proud to say we had 17,000 people attend our 5 concerts this summer. I hope some of you were in that audience. This fall, we have Bark in the Park. We have the Reign of Terror at the Jans. We have Day of the Horse. We have the Haunted Trail over at Thousand Oaks Community Center. We just have numerous events. We have the Mud Run at Dos Vientos. So there's events for all ages all over the community at all the different locations, in addition to the programs and classes that we're currently taking registration for. And once again, thank you for your support. We're very grateful for it.
Thank you, Brenda.
Yes, thank you, Brenda. Wow. You sometimes forget, even living in the community, how expansive programs are and the involvement of the Recreation Department is. Boy. Well, okay. All right. Well, I guess before we knock off this first day of class here at beautiful PS 101, I did want to ask if there's any other questions, comments at this point. All right. If you do want more information on the Council of Aging or have questions, please call Francine at 805-381-7362 or email councilonaging, all one word, at toaks.org, toaks.org. All right, there being no further business to come before the Commission, the Council on Aging is now adjourned to our next meeting on October 2nd. See you then.